GSL 10주년이라 드디어 올 것이 왔군. 좋아, 이제 한번 제대로 시작해볼까? 2020 GSL 시즌 1 코드S 쇼다운. 자, 한판 붙어보자고. 아프리카 TV 브레이크업 스튜디오 라이브 2020 GSL 시즌 1 코드S 쇼다운.
What's up, everybody? We're back for another day of GSL CODES. This has been a fantastic season so far. We've had some insane games, just coming off of incredible play from Scarlet.
The greatest cheeses ever.
The greatest cheeses ever. Well, so far this season, we are off to a good start as far as cheeses go, Artosis. We had SOS make a Nexus in the main and do a pylon from there and a DT warp in, and then we had Scarlet completely cheese out Rogue. I'm happy. I'm happy.
Yeah, that last group had Innovabian and Scarlet move forward, so that was really cool. Of course, we've had a couple gigantic upsets too. SOS and Rogue have not moved on to the next round, so that is...
It does say Innovabian. I did not know what you were talking about at first.
Yeah, Innovabian, man. He changed his ID. It's kind of cool, right? Because it's like, you know that guy like Fabio or something?
Yes.
Now it's Innovabio.
We're still early on here in this season of the GSL CODES. It's good to be back. ASL is wrapping up as well. We'll be going to third place, fourth place match tomorrow, by the way, on this same YouTube channel that you're watching us on right now. But today, Zest, DRG, Impact, Pure are our 4 players in Group C.
Yeah, this is a very exciting group. It's got 2 kind of big favorites, but an interesting underdog and an old school underdog. Obviously, Zest is in ridiculously good shape. He got second place at Katowice. Pure has been really coming up strong for the past year or so and has had better and better and better results. So you expect them to go through. But Impact is always delivering online, occasionally offline. He's always very dangerous sort to play against because he is very aggressive. And then we have DRG, a blast from the past. You know, he made it into CODES a couple seasons ago. It didn't go super well for him as expected. He's back now. I've heard that his MMR has improved quite a bit. I've heard that he's gotten quite a bit better. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that he can make some splashes here today.
You have to have a game that's been out as long as StarCraft 2 to get stories like this as well. Someone who was really dominant, did step down for a little bit, but is now back, and it's like, okay, well, at times this was one of the scariest players in the entire world. Can he possibly do it again?
DRG was the best player in the world for a while.
Yeah.
Like, everyone was pretty much on that level.
Yeah,
right?
and
like,
this was in a period of StarCraft when there was so many tournaments all over the place all the time.
Remember, we used to hang out with him at airports and stuff. Like, he was flying everywhere with his Pokemon hat. Remember his Pokemon hat?
I remember his Pokemon hat, yeah. It was one of my favorite things, is noticing him from across the airport with his Pokemon hat on.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, this is really 2 players from 2 very different eras facing off here. I mean, Zest has been, you know, Legacy of the Void was really his, which of course has been out for half of StarCraft 2 now, but I mean, that's really where we see, when you think of Zest, we think about Adepts, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
We think about,
like, well, mostly Adepts.
Mostly just Adepts, but, you know, it's actually kind of true.
But all his peaks are with Adepts.
Adepts, yeah.
That's funny, and it's true.
yeah. We started with the idea, and now we've thought about it a little bit more. I'm like, actually, it's all Adepts. Yeah, lots of them. But DRG really, you know, I think an incredibly strong player, especially in Heart of the Swarm. But let's see what happens here. DRG's back. If he did it before, I don't see why he can't do it again. But Zest, not only an incredible player in the Legacy of the Void era of StarCraft 2, the longest era of StarCraft 2, but also he's had many, many peaks throughout that period of time in different metas and different patches. So this is going to be a lot of fun as we jump into this. I don't know what to expect from DRG, but I'm excited. Eternal Empire for map number 1. Zest vs. DRG starts now.
전투 준비 완료. 퍼포먼스로 앞서가다 LG 울트라 기어와 넘버원 에너지 드링크 핫식스가 이번 전투를 지원한다고.
Zest has something going on.
Yeah.
Rise your
Maybe
edge
just a
game.
hatchery block.
Zest, 주성.
That was a really early probe sent out here.
And he actually did not get the hatchery block.
아프리카 프렉스. DRG.
This is where he gets
박수.
blocks one of the gases and the other one's taken. I'm like, what?
That's actually exactly what just happened too.
That's what he meant to do, though. That was
That's
his
kind of-
strategy.
yeah. This is kind of funny. That was like a 14 hatch from DRG. So he did that blind without knowing that the probe was coming.
And it still got up.
Well, the thing is, 14 hatch is so unbelievably quick.
Yeah.
And I think that maybe he just knows that this is something Zest really wants to do. It's something talked about with No Regret some recently, where, and some other people as well, where it's like if you block the hatchery, the first hatchery, and make them make the hatchery somewhere else, the win percentage of Protoss goes up like 10% or something in this match. It's like some gigantic boost.
It makes sense.
Yeah, having to send drones to your third base that's the furthest away,
and
it's
also
harder
just
to defend.
getting control immediately. Like you're like, by the time your first or second building is going down, you're already under the control of the Protoss. It's like, well, this is pretty good.
Kind of annoying there for Zest to not make that work out.
Generally speaking, in PvZ, the way this matchup appears to be operating, as far as we understand it right now, is Protoss have to come out with some kind of a push and stop the Zerg. I mean, the Zerg can do. I think the Zerg has more avenues on how to play this. I mean, we do see Zergs that'll do all-ins and crazy stuff, or Niduses, or just do a very, very passive macro game where they're just waiting for the timing, or they'll go into Swarm Host and try to pelt the Protoss. There's a lot of different ways to play it, but Protoss, generally speaking, pretty much always has to win with a timing attack.
Yeah,
of some sort.
There was a point in time where Protoss endgame was actually superior to Zerg endgame.
Correct. Yes.
And that the last time I can recall that happening at the top level, where it was just shown that, like, hey, this endgame comp is ridiculous, was Neeb versus Rogue at the BlizzCon that Rogue won. It was like one of the only things that Rogue lost was against Neeb in the late game of CVP, and that was 2017, right? So it's been a hot minute, and you're definitely right. Like, Protoss needs to do something. You can't just play a big macro game against Zerg.
Zest has actually had some of the best timing attacks from Protoss. He really knows how to come in there and surprise them. And we've seen a lot of recent success, for instance, in academies with Zest. But just in general, he's always been very good, especially in this match, but just kind of coming in there and doing the damage he needs to do. So now against DRG, since it's cool to see him back here, but we don't have a really good idea of exactly how he plays. We haven't had GSL after GSL after GSL here in recent GSLs with him. So I don't know what to expect as far as how DRG is approaching the matchup in the meta right now.
Well, if I can take a small stab at it, just from what we've seen this game, he got his hatchery up very quickly, so he's very on top of that. Like, did not allow that to be stopped by Zest. He sent his Overlord in to scout very aggressively, and even the Stalker couldn't stop it from checking a very remote location that the Stargate was at. So he's going to be able to defend everything pretty well here, right?
Yeah.
It's a very good opening from DRG so far, I would say.
Queen coming in here now. He does take out the one drone that was made into a spore twice. And now it's going to become, at least it looks like a little bit of pressure here. We have 4 Adepts that are shading forward. Meanwhile, there's 2 Oracles. Most of the Queens are down here at the third. He actually lets the shade finish, but will have to turn around immediately.
Yeah, you don't want to fight that. Spores still continuing to go up. The Oracle's probably going to check over here. Oh, look at that. Spore just in the nick of time.
Okay, nice job here by Zest. Continuing to get more drone kills. The third Nexus is going to go down, so this push is going to be moved back a little bit here. We'll see if DRG at any moment here decides to do something to interrupt the third. We do see, for instance, Lings coming across the map now. They're going to try to get a quick surround on that and maybe force a cancel, but I think there's more than enough Protoss here that that won't work out.
Yeah, but overall, like, DRG is just playing a pretty standard, steady game. I'm excited to see what he does as that layer comes up. Zest, getting into his full tech here. Immortals making, Twilight Forge on the way, continuing to harass while getting his third Nexus up. So nothing too out of the ordinary this game. A good back and forth from both players.
Okay, nice job again here. I have to say, Zest is actually really doing a great job killing workers here. Every time he moves through, he's not losing any oracles. He's getting kills, and it looks like his third's going to get up here. Now, that doesn't mean that DRG is...
I believe he's killed 9 drones even.
Yeah, I think you're right. 9 or maybe even 10, actually.
Yeah. And that's, like, very impressive. Like, the difference between people who are really top of the world at oracles and the ones that are not, it's like 7 kills or something.
Sometimes the Oracle does the same dance that the Reaper does in a TVZ, where it comes in and doesn't do anything, and it's like...
2 drone kills is the I'm not that good with oracles, don't kill him out.
Yeah.
that's how many I get every single time, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Zest doing a good job. DRG, we just saw him throw down a Spire. That's exciting.
Yes. Well, DRG, you know, going back to his time, he was very comfortable just stalling Hive Tech out and staying on Layer Tech for a long time. He was really good at this. It's a style that we've seen used off and on. You know, Zerg's proven to be a race that really, there's a lot of different ways you can play it.
Yeah.
But he liked to just sort of...
Roach Muta, man. That was his units.
And just kind of look for a fight. And this is a good way to sandbag any progress that Protoss is going to have with a push, because you're just meeting their push and fighting them. And as long as you're outlasting them, you're going to be fine. But this attack coming in here now with the Immortal is going to be before the Spire is done. So we have Roaches being made and Ravagers, but there's 2 Immortals in this mix. More Warpins coming. I like the Stasis Ward put in the back for when the Zerg thinks he might be winning the fight. He'll get baited into that.
Yeah. That is a really good move. And
whoa, great force fields.
Oh my gosh.
3 Ravagers gunned down almost immediately. The last Ravager, sorry, 2 more Ravagers in the back over here. Zest is continuing to make actually a lot of progress over here with this push.
The Oracle's doing serious work in here as well. A lot more Roaches are coming.
Really?
But the 2 Immortals still just standing there so strong.
Okay, so does Protoss want to back off now? Or do you just keep pushing forward here? Because that was a big success there. He poked out the 4th base. Zest continues to warp, and there's more Ravagers coming. Again, when the Warp Prism is in a stationary position where it can warp in, that's usually when the Ravagers can try to pick it off with Biles. It's about 3 Biles to take out the Warp Prism. But, you know, the job's already been done here for Zest, right? I mean, he's already killed off so much. Now, you can't warp in more units while you're still using his Warp Prism in a mobile fashion, but you are going to get a lot of additional damage here and at least keep 2 of the Immortals alive.
You see DRG absolutely not scared, fighting that entire army the entire time. Like, Zest actually did some fantastic micro there. His unit composition was strong, but DRG used that giant amount of Roaches he had made to defend on that kind of failed defense to push that back.
Now, we have a DRG pushing up here towards the 12 o'clock spot, looking to maybe put some pressure on the 3rd, although I don't think that's going to work. I love the Oracle just right-clicked on this army here. Okay. I was going to say.
He kills one of his own Roaches.
That's so funny.
Yeah. Now the Oracle's really getting its revenge. Yeah. The Oracles have actually been fantastic this game.
Well, out of all the
units,
units,
the big fight too.
Yeah, I mean, besides the Immortals, which are always doing the most damage, the Oracles did so much throughout the start of this game, all the way up until what we're at the 9-minute marker here now. Now, there's 10 mutas out here. DRG would have wanted to get these mutas out earlier, but that attack came at such a specific moment that all the larvae and gas and minerals had to be spent on units to immediately stop the game from ending, and those were ground units here. But with the 10 mutas out, I mean, this Warp Prism and the 2 Immortals can't stay out for too much longer.
No, certainly. When those mutas pop out, this Prism cannot really harass anymore. One thing to mention is that Blink is almost done, so there seems like there is going to be an attack timing coming up here for Zest. But the Baneling Nest is on the way. Can DRG stall this out with the Mutalisks, with the Roaches, with the Lings, in time to get that Baneling speed? So I think without Baneling speed, the attack from Zest is going to be really, really strong. What do you think, Tesos?
I think you're right, Artosis. Well, I mean, let's be honest here. DRG, if these mutas don't do enough damage, DRG is probably just going to get squashed with a push here, but there's no anti-air right now here for these mutas.
His Blink just finished up. So he can utilize that. Obviously, we see a good amount of probes going down. He is going to blink the stalkers around and do what he can, but I don't think there's a plan to make any more mutas right now. Yeah, there is actually.
Yeah,
he's made a bunch more.
He's going to stick to this, just like our old DRG. By the way, he is going to be able to deny the third here, so even though it looks like everything for Zest had worked out so far, setting up for a push, we saw a lot of workers killed. Tactically, DRG is really controlling the map very well right now. And you know what? Maybe if DRG can actually sit on 5 bases for long enough, he'll be in good shape to come back and win this game. I mean, it was actually at 30 workers not long ago. Now we're getting back up to about 54, but that's to the 73 drones that DRG has. I mean, this is really showing why DRG was such a force.
He's playing a nice game, right? Like, he's got a good worker count. His macro is on key. I like the movements of his units as well. That's very nice. The way he's flying the mutas around. He was looking for some holes. He was looking for Zest to make some mistakes positionally. It didn't happen, but he gave himself that opportunity. Now, still flying around with these mutas. As the army size grows of Zest, it becomes scary to use these mutas. Look at this. They're actually fighting the stalkers. We need an Archon or Storms in there to help out.
Yeah, the Stalkers can eventually drive the mutas away, but the mutas are going to get the damage off they need to do. Now, this is a great play with these Zealots down here at the bottom. It does not look like they're going to be able to take out the hatchery in time, only getting a few drone kills. This does pull the army back. And damn, dude, DRG taking another base over here in the far right.
Yeah, look at that.
That's a pretty ambitious expansion.
It might get shut down, but something I want to mention, there's a Dark Shrine on the way. And that is brilliant from Zest, because games like this almost always end in base trade, but DRG going for a full frontal assault. He actually flies over the Storms and the Archons and the Stalkers with Guardian Shield.
A questionable engagement there.
Oh my God.
So much damage. All these mutas very low on HP now. And we have some banelings out here, but it seems like the Zerg army might be just a little bit too flimsy to actually take this on. Oh my God, the Storms from Zest are beautiful here. And yeah, DRG, I think he almost got ahead of himself here.
Yeah.
And now I actually think this push might not be able to be stopped.
Yeah, it's starting to look that way. We don't have any way to reinforce, I don't think. No. Oh, wait, never mind. There is a prism just to the north of the screen.
Notice that Zest is going to ignore that far right base, realizing the more important locations to take out are the ones closer towards the heart of where DRG controls. You can always go back and take out that hatchery over there for free. Just a few mutas coming out here. Now, the only anti-air is this Archon, but in the nick of time, he actually just wins that fight, and that's it. GG. Wow, a really back-and-forth game.
Not just GG, but EGG.
Egg. Egg Sports.
I was thinking it was, he was part of the e-gaming organization that you're
the CEO of? Yes.
Now, Zest takes that down, but I think that DRG actually played a pretty good game.
E-gaming Global.
E-gaming Global. Yeah. Excellent.
Or E-gaming Gamers, I think might be the better one.
You can get Snoop Dogg to drop by, just like the old Global Gaming League.
That's right. People don't know that, but Snoop Dogg did cast an esports match. So did Steve-O from Jackass. That video is somewhere on there, but he's on.
You don't got to say from Jackass. Anyone who doesn't know who Steve-O is shouldn't be watching this show.
That's true. On that one, though, he's definitely on drugs. If you watch that, I'm like, man, that guy did something before he did this. Well, I'll tell you what, DRG and Zest, that was actually a really fun game to cast.
Yeah, that was good.
DRG actually had the momentum, too. I think he just got a little bit too crazy and gave Zest an opening to come in there and punish. Game 2 on Everdream is ready. Let's go.
전투 준비 완료. Rise your edge game. Zest, 주성.
So very fast spark again.
아프리카 프렉스, DRG.
Yeah, let's see if he gets the hatchery block here.
Yeah, it does force it to go elsewhere. So yeah, that's good for Zest. He's able to get that done this time. I want to mention something about that last game though, because
please,
it felt like okay, so DRG, he took that one really big fight when he had a giant clump of mutas, and he wasn't playing against Phoenix, right? He was playing against Blink, Archon, Storm. So the normal way of things when you are going heavy Muta against Blink Archon Storm is that you will get into a base trade situation. It is almost every single time because you can't actually catch the Mutas. And you can't quite split well enough to make it work out. So it almost always turns into that. And that I believe, is why we saw the Dark Shrine coming up. If you have a Dark Shrine in a base trade situation, you're like 10 times more likely to end up winning it as Protoss. But DRG, he did like a full-on engage, and I feel like that's really... I mean, some other things went wrong too. Obviously, his 4th base got taken down and things like that.
Yeah.
But if he fixes some of these small things, I think that's going to be really, really good for him. Like, he didn't look bad.
Yeah, this is the most exciting part, is that he actually looked really good, to be honest. I mean, he was fighting back against Zest, and look, Zest is really good with these timings. So the fact that he's
probably the best at it,
holding his own, excuse me, and then slowing down the 3rd and coming in there and punishing Zest for having no anti-air. I think that there was periods in that if DRG had played a cleaner game and maybe not overextended, especially with those mutas in the end. When he like flew into storms and I think 3 or 4 Archon shots, it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mutas just don't keep up with that.
Mutas will heal up, but if you take too much damage on all of them too quickly, you can't really use them if they have Archons. Or you lose them all and then you lose the game, which is what happened in that last game.
Yeah. Well, I liked his style overall. Hoping that he can keep it together here in the early game.
What game did Snoop Dogg cast again? We were talking about.
I can't remember.
I can't remember. Was it like a Call of Duty or something, or some shooting game?
I can't recall. Sorry.
I think Steve-O did Tony Hawk or something.
That would make sense.
Yeah, something like that. Now, what they don't talk about is what if famous casters hosted that were not esports related? Like, how many beauty pageants has Artosis hosted?
Hosted 1, won 2.
Exactly. By the way, very quick Dark Shrine here.
Yes. Looks like quite likely we'll be seeing the Dark Templar / Archon drop coming up. Nothing too out of the ordinary.
Yeah, this is one of the staple Protoss builds you can do against Zerg here. So we're going to wait for this War Prism to come out, start putting some pressure on. Now, we've had 2 variations of this. One is where they just get the DTs and try to spring it on the Zerg, an unsuspecting Zerg that maybe doesn't have detection if they've hit it well enough. The other one is they immediately make an Archon. The Archon's going to be made no matter what eventually.
Yeah, and he's bringing the Adepts as well. This is definitely something that we've seen also being mixed in. You know, once upon a time, Zest was doing a bunch of like charge lot Archon pushes. Here he's going to be able to harass a lot of different locations at once, and I'm not sure that we even have detection. Okay, so there's 1 Spore on the way. Oh no, that's a Spine.
Okay, and you know what? This is so cool because it looked like it was part of a push, but it's actually a surprise DT rush. This was masked really well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it almost looks like it's this really early Adept timing attack where there's going to be more Adepts. And then, no, surprise, here we are. The DTs are in here. They're going to be doing a lot of damage. And this is a situation where if you don't get control of this as DRG very quickly, you will lose this game. Right now, no detection at the 3rd hatchery. Okay, here comes the Overseer now. Can it get there quick enough? It does. It's at half health. Hatchery's at half health, excuse me.
Yeah, well, luckily he does save that hatchery, but 7 drones falling down. Protoss really not even having to spend that much to do this damage.
Okay,
couple
2
more
Archons.
depths. Yeah, and his harassment will continue. So you look at that drone count. He was at like 37 against 48. Not optimal for Zerg.
No, not optimal is one way to put it, Artosis. You're like bad news bears for Zerg, as I would say.
Yeah, it's another good way to put it.
We've seen this a lot. This is such a good technique here by Protoss. It's like, if you don't lose... you know, this reminds me a little bit of... And we're seeing this idea used more and more is like big, strong units harassing Zerg because as long as you don't lose them, if there's any way to heal them, in this case, Archon's shields heal themselves, and they're basically like 99% shields anyways.
Yeah.
As long as you don't lose that in the War Prism, you're going to get value. Same thing with the Battle Cruiser. Warp in, and you start to just shoot down anything. It's like, well, yeah, I mean, all I have to do is repair this thing and not lose it. And It's done its job.
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I just like, in my head, I couldn't help it because you said they were like 99% shields. That would put them at 1,000 health. Can you imagine? Oh my god. 1,000 health Archons.
Now, DRG, he did take a little bit of a beating, but he's still in this game. Oh man, oh god, splash damage. Oh, he can actually do it again. DRG needs to be very careful here. Here comes the next push. Zest right now so good with these little timings. You know, he just does a little bit of extra damage and immediately has such a quick follow-up push. What is this? I think it's 2 Immortals here with this, and there should be a third one.
Yeah,
the third one's,
way, I guess.
yeah, it must be inbound somewhere. Coming in here, now this is before the Ravagers are done. There's no way to stop these force fields. He tramples over that. Gets right in the Ravager's face over there with that Archon.
Oh
Even picking up the damaged Archon over here.
I think Zest is going to clean him up.
Yeah.
Too, so this is not looking good.
Well,
for
this
DRG.
shows you how Zest has been able to trounce so many Zergs before him with timing attacks like this. Yeah, GG. Damn, Zest.
Yeah, that was super strong.
Second game, even more dominant than the first. I mean, in the first game, it was like...
First game was a game.
It was, yeah, it was a back and forth.
This one was just a pummeling.
Beautifully done. So, Zest is going on to the winner's match. DRG's not eliminated yet. I will tell you, I think if you want to look at a game and see where DRG's at, look at that game 1. Game 2, the timing attack came out so quickly, and honestly, DRG was holding it for the start, but the follow-up push was so quick. Adept DT straight into Archon Harass, and the moment the Archon Harass seemed like it wasn't going to work anymore, immediately the push comes.
Yeah, yeah, he lined
like,
it up just beautifully, rallied those units in, did one more warping round, and go. Plenty of force fields, plenty of Immortals.
We're going to go to a short break. When we come back, our second best of 3 in Group C of the GSL Code S.